Welcome back. Our next guest has the tools to enhance your mental health and relationships you might be looking for. Joining us now to talk more about it is psychotherapist Rana Ryan. Thanks so much for coming in today,
Thank
Rana.
you, Jesse. Thank you.
So I want you to talk a little bit about your extensive experience in your fields of psychotherapy, and actually I want you to also explain what that is.
Well, first I started out younger out of college, 21, as a caseworker. And working in foster care, and I've seen so many children come in and out of foster care because of the broken family or the dysfunction that happens in families in Brooklyn and Queens up to Buffalo.
Okay. So you work with people from all walks of life
Yes,
then?
I do, yes. And what I do now is, because of that experience when I was so young, I was getting children back home. I was providing parenting. I was providing counseling, but it was separate.
Right.
So now, as I aged in the field, 30 years later, writing and teaching and doing activist work in the field, I realized that it's about our healthy relationships within the family.
Yeah.
If I can work with mom and dad, if I can work with grandma, if I can bring the family together to process some old wounds and generational trauma, we can decrease some of the strained relationships that put pressure on our children.
So that's what you do. You work with the families and try to pinpoint that shared trauma.
Yes.
And that generational trauma is real.
It's very real, and it's so subliminal. It's passed on subliminally, and we suppress it. And we project it out, though, in anger and frustration, isolation, alone, judgment, even on ourselves. I remember working with someone, and she grew up in the crack era, unfortunately, in the 80s, and she thought, because her parents were on drugs, it was her fault. And it wasn't. Once she realized her parents were also struggling.
Right.
And once they, became healed and got clean, and she realized they all were struggling. And because of openness and conversation about that era and about how it affected her as an adult, they were able to reconnect and not be estranged through, you did this, you did that. It was trauma, no matter if it was a drug era, no matter if it was mental health, no matter what happened. We have to go back. And that's the obtain stage we're going to talk about later in the book. We got to obtain ourselves, obtain that story. Even if we're married, even if we're already in a relationship, even if we're in conflict with a family, obtain your story first. So you can start the process and see where you at.
And that's why they say you have to be a whole person before
Yes.
you enter. You shouldn't be looking for someone to complete you, right?
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite line. It says our partners add to us. I'm married 28 years. I remember being young, and my husband would say, I was 25, and this is in a book. He says, well, you need to get a life. And I said, what do you mean by that? Because I used to come home and just think, I'm supposed to just take care of him. I got to take care of me.
Right.
It was me going back to school and getting my degree. It was me building a community with my church. It was me doing my activist work. But I thought it would stop once I got married.
Right, yeah. No, but you got to still continue to work on yourself.
Yes, and working on myself. That was one of the biggest, processing my own trauma. I talk about that in chapter 1, processing my stress and frustration and anger that I carried on.
Yeah. Let's talk more about your book here. So you've kind of culminated your life and your experiences and your studies into this book?
Totally. I would not be able to get this far if it wasn't for the amazing people that I work with and healing with them. When you're working with patients or clients, their struggle is your struggle. You see yourself in them.
Right.
And in 30 years doing this work, I was able to grow while I was helping other people. And understanding that, yes, I carried stress, I carried frustration, I carried trauma. And it's a lifestyle to be well, meaning you're not going to get it all right in one barrel.
Yeah.
It takes every day of getting better, every day of chopping down that hurt or pain.
But you have to put the work in, right?
Oh, it's so much work. People ask me all the time, like it's a magic wand. It's not a magic wand. I wish it was. It's acknowledging, it's mirroring, looking in the mirror. Sometimes I have to go back to that 6th grade chubby self but get rid of that word that was fatty girl, because it gave me some trauma of not feeling secure about myself.
Right.
And I had to process that picture.
The thing is, everyone
and
has.
That was 6th grade.
Yeah, the inner child's work. You have to heal your inner child as an adult, because you know, growing up as a kid, you don't necessarily have the skills to be healing along the way.
Yeah.
So later on, you know, when you get to a point where you're realizing, okay, that past trauma is now affecting me as an adult.
Yes.
It's affecting my relationships.
It's so
It's
effective.
affecting how I see myself. You gotta take time to
Yeah.
work on healing,
Yeah.
you know, little Chelsea, little
Yes,
Raina,
yes.
so that me as adult Chelsea can be the best version of myself in this world that I'm currently living
And it
in.
comes out in your beauty. You can see it comes out in your beauty as you accept yourself. I just want to say, too, carrying generational trauma and then child bullying or whatever it was takes away from you feeling beautiful and good about yourself and loving yourself.
Right.
It's not a cliche. You know, I remember looking in the mirror and only seeing a shadow or my hairstyle.
Yeah.
I could see behind my eyes. I could see my work. I could see my visions and the things I overcame and still to overcome. And that is about loving yourself.
Yeah. Well, Rena, if our viewers would like to work with you and try to, you know, work on that inner child and work on themselves and their mental health and relationships, how can they reach out to you?
Consult with RanaRyan.com. My office is located at 651 Delaware Avenue, Buffalo, New York, Suite 135. I have an amazing secretary. She would accommodate you and get you right in. I have no waiting list. I also want to promote that I do free healthy relationship groups online. Post-COVID, pre-COVID, I used to do them in person, and I started doing them via Zoom, and it's free, and it's 4 weeks for 2 hours a week, 6 to 8 p.m. at night. We just finished our last one in November, and the only prerequisite is to have the book because we follow each chapter in the book, and I love it. We had someone actually in Europe, yes, who traveled and still came to the group, and so I want to say, and it's all over. You know, we have it from Brooklyn, Queens, Buffalo, Tonawanda, and it's everywhere. And you don't have to put your camera on. You can just listen. And I have PowerPoint slides where you can, you know, if you don't have the book, because everybody don't have the book.
Yeah.
So get the Zoom link, you join. I turn nobody down because it's just an amazing free opportunity to discuss their relationship or hear about other people's relationships.
Rena, thank you so much for coming in and sharing more. We're starting off the new year in a healthier journey with our mind. So if you would like to learn more about bettering your mental health with Rana Ryan, you can visit consultwithranaryan.com or contact the email or the phone numbers right there on your screen. Thanks again for coming in, and
Thank you.
hope you have a happy and healthy new year.
Yes, you too. Thank you.